On Action Network, we'll always ask activists for their first name, last name, email address, and zip codes on all types of actions. You're able to change what questions are required depending on the action, but you can always add your own questions as well. If you're regularly adding different custom questions with the form builder, you may want to create a pre-built question. Questions are pre-built snippets of HTML code that you can easily add to your action without creating the whole question from scratch over and over again. Questions are easy and efficient ways to get more information from your activists every time you create an action. To start creating questions, we'll go to the Start Organizing menu and click Questions and Custom Fields. You'll then be prompted to select a list from the drop-down menu. Each custom question and its data is tied to a specific group, not to the individual account. This way, anyone in your group can use the question when creating an action. So we'll go ahead and choose our group from the drop-down menu. On this page, we'll see any questions we've already created, as well as any custom fields that the data is stored in. Let's go ahead and create a new question by clicking the blue Add New Question button. You'll then be prompted to choose a field type. This is the type of question you want to create. Your options are a text field, text area, checkbox group, radio button group, and drop-down menu. Let's go over what those mean. A text field lets your activists input their own text that's one line long, like a phone number or city. Text areas are for larger inputs, like if you're asking someone to share their story or why they care about a certain issue. Both the text field and text area questions are created the same way, so I'll just show you one. Let's go ahead and create a text field. So after we select text field from the drop-down menu, we have to fill out a few things. The first thing we have to do is create an administrative title. Unlike our actions like petitions, emails, and forms, where an administrative title is optional, it's required on questions. This is a title that's only used internally to recognize this question from a group of questions. The name is what your data will be stored under as a custom field. A custom field is kind of like a column heading. When you create a report, this is how the data for the question will be stored. So make sure it's descriptive so you know what you're looking at. You then have the option to create a label. The label will appear next to the field where people will write their answer. You also have the option to do a placeholder, which is the gray text within the field that will disappear when the activist types in their own information. You don't have to have both a label and a placeholder, but you should have at least one. Otherwise, you'll just have a blank text box and your activists won't know what to do. On Action Network, when we ask for the first and last name, zip code, and email address, we just use a placeholder. Labels are great for adding more context to a question, like if you make the label address and the placeholder text is 123 Main Street. When you do this, it provides a good model for the format you want. So let's go ahead and do that for phone number. When you're done, just click the blue Create Question button at the bottom. And that brings us back to the Questions and Custom Fields page, where you'll see the question I just created in the question section. To the right, you'll have an at-a-glance view. Of what type of question it is. Here, a text field, the administrative title of the question, and the custom field. You'll also have the option to hide, edit, or delete the question. Below that, in the custom field section, you'll see the phone number name that my data will be stored under. You'll notice that you can't edit the custom fields form from this section. To edit the name of the custom field heading, you'll have to click up here. Radio buttons, checkboxes, and drop-down menus are different because you can store them in one of two ways: as a custom field, like what we just did for phone number, or as a tag. If you're unsure about tags, please watch the tags video tutorial at help.actionnetwork.org. I'll go over custom fields first. So let's create checkboxes as a custom field. We'll click the blue button to add a new question and select the checkbox group from the drop-down menu. Like before, we'll give the question an administrative title that we'll use on the back end. So let's say we want to know what people's favorite flavor of ice cream is. We'll make the administrative title Favorite Ice Cream. Our label is what the activist will see to the left of the box on the form they fill out. So we'll say, what are your favorite ice cream flavors? Now we need to give options. Where it says option label, I'm going to write vanilla. This is what our activist will see next to the checkbox. The option name is how the activist choice will be stored in our data. Flavor _ vanilla. You can create as many options as you like. Just hit the green button to create a new line. So we'll make this one chocolate. And the next one, strawberry. Then, when you're done, click the blue Create Question button. Again, you'll see that this is stored as a checkbox group. We'll see the administrative title and the custom field values that we created with the option label. Again, you have the option to hide, edit, or delete the question. Like I said earlier, you also have the option to store the data as tags instead of custom fields for radio buttons, checkboxes, and drop-down menus. So let's try that with radio buttons. We'll click the blue button to add a new question and select radio button group from the drop-down menu. Then we'll click this red text that says, or tag an activist, to set this up as a tag. First, we'll add an administrative title. For this question, we want to know if people are interested in volunteering. So we'll make the administrative title volunteer. The label is what our activists will see on the form. So we'll make this, are you interested in volunteering? Then we'll add the option label. Like before, this is what our activists will see next to the radio button. So I'll put, yes, sign me up. Then, to the right, you'll choose the option tag from the drop-down menu. These have to be tags that you've already created. For more information on how to do that, please watch our tags video tutorial at help.actionnetwork.org. For this option, we'll choose Volunteer Yes. To create another option, we'll click the green Add Another Radio button again and make another option label. This one will say No, thanks though. And the option tag will be Volunteer No. Now, whenever an activist fills out this form, their individual account will be tagged with either Volunteer Yes or Volunteer No. We'll go ahead and click the blue Create Question button. Now you'll see in the question section, the volunteer question says radio button group, and instead of listing the custom field, it says tag question. You won't see anything in this custom field section. Lastly, we'll create a drop-down menu and do that with a tag. So we'll click Add New Question and select Drop-Down Menu from this drop-down menu. This is actually a great example of a drop-down menu. It lists multiple choices without taking up too much space. This is a great option for when you have several choices, but they can all be consolidated to one rectangular box. This works well for activists who need to select their union affiliation, school district, or state. The creation is pretty similar to how we just did radio buttons. For this question, let's ask activists which conference session they'd like to attend. We'll give it an administrative title, and click the red or tag an activist text. Again, the label is what the activist will see that tells them what to do. So we'll say, which conference session would you like to attend? For the option label, we'll say Session A and tag it as Session A. We'll click the green button to add another option and fill in the rest. When you're done, click the blue Create Question button. Now let's create a form so we can see what these look like. Let's go to the Start Organizing menu and click Forms. Let's fill out this form really quick. We'll select our group from the Sponsored By so that we can see the questions that we've pre-built. Then we'll go to Add or Edit Additional Form Questions. From the Pre-Built Questions section, we'll select our questions from the drop-down menu. We'll select Favorite Ice Cream and drag and drop it over to our form. And we'll select phone number that we just created and session preference. And our volunteer radio button group. Now let's click Save Form so we can see what it will look like. Here you can see all the questions that we've just created. If you have any further questions about the Questions and Custom Fields tool or any of our other features, please visit help.actionnetwork.org.